go live. So the Minnesota Timberwolves are currently going to they're entering another season of Karl Anthony Towns and D'Angelo Russell. Now, the one thing that's interesting about this is that while in the 50 games that I believe that Towns, throughout the first 50 games of the for the Timberwolves, the duo of both D'Angelo Russell and Karl Anthony Towns, they did not play together for more than, I think it was like 5 games, 4 or 5 games, or was it 8 games? I don't know. Single digit. So Minnesota is going to continue to want to express interest to just kind of see what they can do moving forward. Minnesota is going to kind of see what pieces fit. Let's look at their cap sheet. So looking at the cap sheet, Karl Anthony Towns, D'Angelo Russell, they're both getting paid $30 million as if they're all-stars. And it is interesting to me that Minnesota would want to continue to pay these guys because they're taking up so much of the cap room. Then after those guys, they have Ricky Rubio, who's still under contract, who had the horrible Suns deal. And now he's on the roster for Minnesota. So when he's a guy that, is he waived? Is he traded? What happens there with Ricky Rubio? Malik Beasley is a nice young player, and he might be a piece that you have to move in order to get off kind of a Rubio contract. And the Edwards, we knew him from last season, the guy who was contending for the Rookie of the Year award all season. Struggled with his first half of the year, but then the back half of the season, he actually did pretty well. And then they have these young players, Okogie, Jaden McDaniels, Jarrett Culver, these wings that you kind of like wonder what their fit is exactly, because it's like Towns, a bunch of wings, D'Angelo Russell. And so what does Minnesota do? Because they don't have their draft pick this upcoming draft, and they don't have they won't have really much cap space at all. So Minnesota, we'll talk a little bit more about them, and this will probably be a relatively short video just because of Minnesota's being strapped. I believe that Minnesota has a little bit of an issue on their hands. They cannot afford to, just continuously miss the playoffs and still be paying as much money to team salary as they are. Here's a look at their draft picks moving forward. They're kind of good from here on out after the Warriors trade, but ultimately, again, you have to really pay attention to the fact that this team is going to need to make a move. Is there a situation where Towns and Russell and a package of Rubio and Malik Beasley are able to bring in a third piece to the roster? That probably makes a little bit more sense. I don't know if that's even out there. But yeah, Minnesota, really quickly looking at them, just how valuable are these young wings to Minnesota, at least? If we're going to play D'Angelo Russell, if we're going to play Malik Beasley, they aren't, I don't know if I can put my foot in the ground and say, yes, Beasley and Russell are the future of the Minnesota Timberwolves. I don't believe that's true. This team also was top 3 in both blocks and steals. I don't know if the contracts of both D'Angelo Russell and Beasley, again, I know I'm talking about them a lot, but I don't know if they can be on the roster together, especially Rubio, obviously. Has anybody checked in on Karl Anthony Towns lately to kind of gauge his feeling as to him wanting to be a part of the team? Look, Minnesota is a bad franchise. They have not been a good franchise for a while since they traded Kevin Garnett. I believe they've only made the playoffs just the one time since they traded Garnett to Boston. And that was the year that they just barely, I think, got into the playoffs like the last game of the season, and then they lost in the first round. That was the Jimmy Butler led team. Just interesting. I mean, it's just really, to me, it's kind of insane how Minnesota has just been this bad for this long. But yeah, let's get into rumors here because this video is probably going to be pretty quick. Let's get into it. Timberwolves veteran Ricky Rubio is among the point guards whose names have been floated around the trade market per Windhorse. That's what we already mentioned. His contract it can't exist with this bad of a team. Pacers, Cavaliers, Kings, Raptors have showed interest in trading for Ben Simmons. This is an interesting topic because there was a lot of reports talking about how they were going to be big suitors for Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is going to be a guy who the Minnesota Timberwolves really, really value and they really want to try to get. But is Malik Beasley, Ricky Rubio, that puts your salary at like 14 and 17, so that's 31. Sorry, that's about 31 million. That probably covers Ben coming back, but like, is that enough? Like, and future picks? Would Minnesota really do that? Would Minnesota give away so many picks and draft capital to bring in Simmons? I don't know. They could. You know what? We have enough time on this stream. Let's actually try to make a trade work and see what we can get going here. So for those of you wondering, I'm on a website called No Trade Clause. They do a really good job of being able to show these cap sheets and everything. So those are super, super good. And they also have a realistic trade machine that actually is a lot better than the trade machines you see anywhere else, because these are very up to date. So all right, let's take Philadelphia. Let's take Philadelphia and Minnesota. And let's just try to construct something here, and that's how we'll end the stream. Okay, so we know Ben Simmons is leaving, 33 mil, and then we know it's got to be Rubio, which I don't know why Philadelphia would want Rubio, but again, Rubio, Malik Beasley, maybe you throw in another key player in there. But then do you give away firsts, right? You can obviously have protections on them and everything, but like, let's just look to see what this does for us right now. Rubio twice. Not Ben Simmons, Malik Beasley, future draft pick. And yeah, that's probably it. Maybe another future draft pick as well from Minnesota. So like 2 firsts, Malik Beasley and Ricky Rubio. Is this enough for Philadelphia to be like, oh yeah, and the trade works? Sorry, you guys probably can't see it because I have the lockdown, but here's the trade right here. So the trade is Rubio, Malik Beasley, 2 future firsts from Minnesota, maybe even 3, honestly, and then for Ben Simmons. So I don't think Minnesota takes this, Philadelphia. I don't believe Philadelphia takes this just because it's so. They're going to try to get something great. And there's a lot of reports that are saying that Daryl Morey, the GM of Philadelphia, is going to want to hold on to Simmons until he can for sure get another like all-star caliber player. So yeah, I don't think this works, but you can kind of see the little construction that happens. Does Minnesota want to try to invite a third team to be a part of this? Maybe, but it's obviously hard to get a third team involved because they have to be getting something. They got to be getting rid of something in a sense. And so that is something to keep your eye out for, because Minnesota has talked a lot about being interested in Ben Simmons. So let's take a look more here. Juancho Hernangomez, per damage after denying permission to represent Spain in the ring. Oh, shoot. After denying permission for him. I didn't even know this. Juan Hernangomez was denied. Spain's Basketball Federation president Clemson will play in the Olympics because the Timberwolves president, Jerzon Rosas, nixed it. according to Eurohoop story related by this guy, Hernan Gomez dislocated his left shoulder in the summer, but Jorge Garza says the big man has been cleared by Spain's medical staff. Juancho wants to play in the Olympic Games, but Juancho won't be able to play. We've had countless medical meetings, and we've never received a no. We have a received yes. It's a problem of people, not medical personnel, who have personally decided that Juancho wouldn't play. I'm talking about their president of basketball operations. Interesting. I didn't know that. Minnesota's a mess. Honestly, Minnesota's a huge mess. So that's a little weird. I didn't know anything about that, so that was nice to read. Juancho Hernan Gomez. What's his salary situation? Just want to see if he's like going to go to the... If he's going to go to... Let's see here. Juancho. Yeah, he's still under contract, obviously, but okay. Alex Rodriguez and Mark Lore have formally approved as minority stakeholders. We knew that. Hernan Gomez, Josh Okogie. League sources tell Fisher that there will be a sizable market for John Collins once free agency begins next month. So this was a while ago, but the Mavericks have been considered as a possible destination for some time, and the Timberwolves are another team to watch, according to Fisher. Collins is a really interesting restricted free agent because I don't think he's a guy that is like going to overly make your team a lot better, but I do believe he is a good player. All right, we're going to end this stream. We went a little over. But yeah, Minnesota, I don't see much from them in the offseason, to be honest with you, but we'll see. I would try to get off Rubio, and it might take Malik Beasley to do that, along with a young piece. Can they get Ben Simmons? I don't think they can, but we'll definitely check into that here in a minute. Marciano, I'm going to botch your name. Marcelino de Cas. Apologize for screwing that up. You're very underrated. Thanks, man. That actually means a lot. Feel free to subscribe to the channel. I'm kind of doing this as like a side thing. But yeah, I love watching the NBA and paying attention to it. So thank you so much. That means a lot. Yeah, we're gonna start another stream here in a minute. I believe we're gonna be talking about. Let's see, Toronto. We're going to talk about Toronto. Thank you again, Marcelino. Feel free to subscribe. It helps me out. Again, very much appreciate your words. And look forward to talking with you more if you join some more streams. Thanks, man. All right, we're going to start a new one here in like 30 seconds.